There is a perception of maximum human evolution conspiring in our favor, making our existence ever more perfect. This is when you become the worst enemy of your current version. When the inner enemy becomes the architect of evolutionary ascent. The conspiring universe whispers secrets of transformation in every subatomic particle that dances in the quantum void of our being. This text explores the profound evolutionary paradox, where we become antagonists of our present version in order to reach higher states of consciousness, interweaving quantum physics with the poetry of spiritual awakening. Through a weave of conceptual verses and existential questions, we invite the reader to immerse themselves in the mystery of their own evolution, where particles of possibility collapse into new realities when we dare to challenge the limits of our current identity. The Quantum Observer, fragmenting the realities of the self. In the vast field of probabilities that constitutes our existence, we are simultaneously observers and creators. The principle of quantum superposition reveals that we exist in multiple potential states until consciousness collapses the wave function into a tangible reality. Isn't this the perfect metaphor for our internal evolution? We inhabit a state of existential superposition where our current self coexists with all our possible versions, waiting to manifest when we dare to look into them. When we contemplate the abyss between who we are and who we could be, we activate the quantum entanglement of the parallel realities of our being. What if we could simultaneously observe all possible versions of ourselves coexisting in the multiverse of consciousness? Would we have the courage to recognize that our current self is merely a preliminary draft in the cosmic manuscript of our potential? Quantum physics shows us that reality is not fixed but probabilistic, and perhaps our current identity is simply the probability we have collapsed so far, while infinite higher versions await in the field of all possibilities. When we face the existential mirror, are we prepared to see not only what we are, but what we systematically avoid becoming? This harrowing confrontation is the portal to higher dimensions of being. Existential questions act as quantum probes that penetrate the surface layers of our consensus reality and awaken resonances with dormant potential states. At what point did we decide that our current version deserved our loyalty more than our future version? Why do we so fiercely protect a temporary identity that is destined to be transcended? The alchemy of inner conflict. Evolutionary antagonism operates as a form of quantum alchemy where the lead of comfort is transmuted into the gold of transcendence. This transmutation requires heat, pressure, and catalysts that we often experience as crises, profound questions, and seemingly insurmountable challenges. Just as an excited atom must release energy to return to a ground state, we must release crystallized identities to access higher states of consciousness. The Song of Existential Superpositions. Quantum reality teaches us that particles can exist in multiple states until they are observed. And likewise, we exist in a superposition of potential identities until consciousness chooses to manifest one. This dance of possibilities is poetically expressed in the internal tensions we experience between what we are and what we sense we could be. Internal conflict is not a sign of dysfunction, but the natural manifestation of superposed states seeking evolutionary resolution. What version of you is conspiring from the future to disintegrate the walls of your current prison? Maximum evolution is not a destiny, but a field of resonance that has been calling you since time immemorial. The cosmic conspiracy of human potential. The universe as an accomplice to our evolution. Could we then understand hostility toward our current version as an act of supreme love for our potential? Perhaps the greatest compassion we can offer ourselves is the courage to systematically dismantle all the internal structures that limit our maximum expression. On the evolutionary horizon, our current version is merely a starting point, not a final destination. The true act of self-love consists in constantly remembering that we are in process, that we are verbs and not nouns, movement and not stasis, limitless potential gradually manifesting through time and space. The infinite journey toward limitless being. Evolutionary antagonism invites us to a sacred relationship,